Hello, everybody. And for me, shrimp is life. Shrimp is my hobby. Shrimp is my job. Shrimp is my living. So I thought I'd take the time to make a video showing you guys everything I got going on. I like to do one of these videos every once in a while to show you everything that I've got and some of my future plans. So let's take a look. All right, so we'll stay with this tank here. We are starting in my bedroom. This is actually where I usually end these videos, but start here and look what we've got here. This is a mix of blue jellies and reds and the varying degrees of what happens in the middle of them. So in my videos, I've talked about many times about how you can make red realies mixing blue jellies and reds. It's one of my fascinations. And so this tank, they're all my project tanks. So when I take out the very best handful of blue jellies, reds, and red realies I'm starting, and even blue red realies I've been starting on. All the ones that I don't keep, I throw in here. And so this has actually kind of been like my personal dream tank. I really, really love it. And now we're really starting to get a nice shrimp population started. Now you can see there's some not too good ones, but they're all calls to begin with. It all looks pretty good to me. I love the variety of these that you get when you mix these two together. Reds and blue jellies, the best two colors of shrimp to mix together. So if you want to have a shrimp tank and you want different colors, but you're worried about getting a bunch of wilds, right, here's your answer. Blue jellies, reds, and even red realies. Because red realies, basically, every shrimp in here has red in it and blue jelly in it. And all the other stuff is just a mixture of how much blue jelly it has versus how much red it has. So it's one of my new fascinations. Well, not new. I've been fascinated over this for like 3 years. And then over here, this is actually getting ready to go by. This will be the last time you guys see this. This is the 100-gallon blue jelly pond, and a rack will be going here. Now, due to the floor situation, I can't stack tanks to ceiling here, so this is just going to be a couple 40s and a 10, I do believe, here. And then over here, these guys, this is my only Caridina tank. These guys are so awesome. Red Fancy Tigers. Some of these guys are really, really good. But, like, I wanted to go big with them. I got this great big 40-gallon tank. And I've got some breeding. I've got more than I started with, I think. But they're just not producing like I would hope they would. And so these guys are going to get a 10-gallon. I think maybe I can do a better job with them than a 10-gallon. But this 40-gallon tank is going to be one of the Neo lines I have outside in my shrimp farm. Will be used for Neos. So this tank will be having a Neo line in it. I'm thinking it's going to be orange realies that are outside. So speaking of the outside stuff coming inside here in the fall, this is the rack that'll be going where the blue jelly pond is. It's not, I still got to put a top on it, but that's the frame of it. That was yesterday's project. And then out there is a shrimp farm. I talk about that all the time. So let's see, we've got orange in that one. That one has actually gone green, and I can't see much. Then the next to that is snowball shrimp. There's There's probably 2,000 babies in there already. The one next to that is blue jellies. We got lots and lots in there. Starting to see some babies. Then we got green jades. Lots and lots in there. Starting to see lots of babies. Then we've got Bloody Marys. I put a lot out there and starting to see babies. They're all doing good. And then right here we have my Red Really line that I've created myself, like we talked about earlier, mixing reds and blue jellies. And they're doing really good, and they're going to get their own tank. That'll be one of the tanks that goes in the rack in the bedroom. And then we have Blue Dreams. No matter what tank I put them in, no matter where I put them, they look awesome and breed like wildfire. Then we have reds that are doing super good. And then we have yellows that are doing good. And then we have the orange reallys, and I only put like probably 50 or 60 out there. There's probably 1,000 in there. I'm not even joking, because this one was really green. The red one's also green. And the orange one is really green. But I only put like 50, 60, 70 out here. And there's probably over 1,000 orange reallys in there right now. So that makes me really happy. It cleared up enough that I could see inside of it. And it's doing really good. Let's go back inside now. So when I got all those tubs going, they started with my project shrimp tank. And these tanks had non-buried females, and the very best ones in here that were not buried. And so now these guys are starting to breed out. Oh, I kept like a dozen in this tank, and the reds. And so we got babies, so that makes me happy. Those guys are doing good. And then the blue dreams down here, like I said, always unbelievable. I mean, I just can't believe how many babies are already in here. And we started off with like 15 shrimp. None of them were buried. And we reset it. And this tank is well on its way to having hundreds and hundreds of shrimp in here. There probably is already 100 shrimp in here now. Let's see if I get all the babies. So many in here. I love them. This is the Red Really project. The Red Reallys I created myself. You see, we got lots of little ones. We got a bunch of little Pleco guys in here. Looking good. Looking good. And below that is the Bloody Mary project. These guys are really taking off. I'm so happy about that. We got tons of little Bloody Marys. And they look so good. So good. Let's see, the reflection in this tank is super bad. And then this is one of my for fun. I started getting Superman thrown in one of my Blue Dreams, and I pulled them all out. Well, close to being Superman. They're not, some of them ain't perfect Superman, but anything that had red and the dark blue, I started pulling, and you can see we got babies that are Superman. So we're gonna let these grow up a few generations. Yeah, maybe another generation or so, and then we'll start selecting the very, very good ones. Let the best handful of those breed out and see what happens. That one is interesting. I just like doing these projects. Like I said, shrimp is life. I do it for fun. I do it for work. I do it for everything. Other than my kids and my wife, shrimp really is my life. Oh, I'm excited about this, man. They're so cool. I like them a lot. Alright, so that is the first rack Oh, you keep zooming in. I'm trying to zoom out. That's the first rack of project tanks. That was 520 longs. And we'll go to the other 520 gallon long rack right over here. So here we have the Green Jade project. The green jades are outside. All come from this tank. We got little baby green jades. That makes me happy. Shrimp is life. Alright, and then below that, this is another one of my mad scientist tanks. These, ooh, look at that one. So essentially, I was trying to make Spider-Man, because that's what Bloody Mary, these are Bloody Mary Reallys, and blue, or carbon blue Reallys that I had just thrown wild out of my blues. I mixed them together, and I still throw some Bloody Marys, and you get a different hodgepodge of things going on here. And when I culled this down, so I was trying to create this Supermans, but then the Supermans started getting thrown on their own, and now I'm starting on a Superman shrimp population, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. These guys, they've bred together for like 2 or 3 generations now, and you get a few wilds, but I mean, there's some interesting, cool looking shrimp in here. Some of my Bloody Mary Reallys are superb in here, trying to get the blue in the middle. And some of them are getting it, but I think I'm having better luck with just the ones that randomly popped up. So I'll probably dream up another crazy project for this tank. This tank was a lot of fun, because that's what Superman shrimp are. You got it's the Bloody Mary red and the blue, dark blue middle. And then down below that, we've got a blue jelly. They already got some babies going on. Get them with the best non-buried ones. Start off. And we got snowballs. We got baby snowballs in here. Lots of buried ones. And down here on the bottom, we have my absolute very best oranges. I haven't seen any babies in here yet. And there's a buried one. So I was half afraid I didn't have any males in here. Yeah, is it buried? I don't know. I'm half afraid I didn't have any males in here because I didn't see any buried, but I know I seen a buried one for sure. Where you at? So whatever reason, these guys are slow to get going again. But they sure look pretty good. Like them a lot. Alright, so that is the project tanks. So let's start looking at the 40 breeders. So most of these 40 breeders are my sales tanks. And a lot of the shrimp that are outside, they'll be coming in the fall, and they'll be going in these tanks. So these up here at the top, we got blue jellies. Ooh, I love them. And we got some algae, and we got some moss management to be doing here. Here we have the oranges. Same thing with the moss management. Look at them. Oh my gosh, there's so many in here. There's so many oranges. I love them. Gotta pick out some of the reds and keep throwing it. They spit out every once in a while. But it's looking pretty good. These two top tanks will do for a call. And then right here, this is the yellow line, my new yellow line. I've been trying to get enough together. They're not too far away. I get you guys asking me all the time, when are the yellow 24K shrimp going to be up and how are they looking? Well, here they are, looking pretty good. I try to make sure they have a yellow back, the yellow stripe on them. But the plecos are pushed away first back there underneath the moss. And so that we're starting to build up quite a population here. These guys ain't too far from being available on the website, markshellyaquatics.com. Then here's the ever popular Blue Dreams. So many in here. Plecos, these plecos, they just don't stop breeding. So many plecos. And then over here we have the green jades that we redone not too long ago. They're looking nice. Green jades. I love them. I love them. Baby pleco. And then we have here with the Bloody Marys. Now the plan with these is I'm going to try to sell them all down to nothing. And then when I bring them in the fall, they're going to be replaced. So there's that. These guys are, a few more culls are thrown in here, more than I'd like. Not a ton, but there's still lots of super awesome ones. Unbelievable shrimp. But you're getting a few chocolates and blacks getting thrown out. So for years, I've had this line in this tank for a long time now. Like 5 or 6 years. Been maintained. And then down here on the floor, we got the mermaid weed farm. Lots of moss. And these are what I sell as blue velvets or mixed grade blue dreams. Now, honestly, a lot of these shrimp in here are just as good as anything you'll see in the blue dream tank. But these guys just go unchecked. I don't really call them. I don't really have to. There's not horrible ones, really. This is just what blue dreams do if you just let them go and breed out. So when I do blue dream tanks, when I call them, a lot of times they'll come in here, or like with projects, when I do a big reset, and I'm only keeping a handful of the best ones, then all the extras will come in here. So a lot of times, absolutely totally perfect shrimp will come in here because they're coming from a project tank, and I'm clearing them all out. I don't keep the babies, so all the babies from like my special, like look at this one right here. I don't know if you can get a better blue dream than. So these are my culls. You can imagine how good the blues are now. I put a lot of work over the years. These are my blue dream culls, and they're pretty good. We got the Skittles. So most of the blue dream culls go in that blue velvet mixed blue dream tank. And then all the jellies and reds and the projects of me mixing those two different lines go into the first tank we talked about in the bedroom. And then everything else comes in here. And a lot of blues do end up in here. Like, I think I mentioned my blues, they breed like wildfire. So I got blues coming out everywhere. So lesser blues coming here too. This tank is getting ready to get a whole bunch of Bloody Marys because I have a Bloody Mary pond that I'm about to take down. So this thing kind of sucks right now. The big light burned out. I knew I planned on taking it down, so I just kind of zip tied a shop light to it for now. But we've got A lot of these are really good. There's tons in here. So many. Pretty good too. Of course, this has been going like this for like 3 years now, I think. And I caught a whole bunch. It's kind of like the Bloody Marys. It kind of got away from me in this one. So I'm just going to put them all in the Skittles tank or start selling off as cheap Bloody Marys, Bloody Mary Skittles, whatever. I'm not sure. I haven't figured it out. But this has to come down because eventually I'm going to build this summer to get all the tanks ready for outside. This rack is going to come down. This is going. And over here where my TV is, it's going to be a giant rack from the door to the wall over here. So I think that's going to be cool, but I've got my work cut out for me on this one. And here's the rack with the 420 highs, a 75, and a 20 long on the floor. So the first one here is a Blue Jelly project. This is a tank. I restarted this project and put all of them in that 75 in my bedroom, the first tank we talked about. So that's where the Blue Jelly part of that tank come into play. Snowball tank has gone green. I'm not real sure why, but they don't care. I'm catching shrimp out of here to sell today, and I couldn't hardly find any females that weren't buried. So, and then this is another Blue Dream project. I might do something different with this tank, but most of what this tank is, when I pulled down my old 75s in the bedroom, when I pulled it down, before it was a Blue Dream, and I picked out like the best, like 200 or 300 shrimp out of there, and put them in here. And then this is my Bloody Mary really line I am working on making. This one I didn't mix any colors together. My Bloody Marys just spit out a couple of reallys. This is a project where I reset. We're getting close to calling and resetting. But this one is coming along nicely. Still spitting out some crappy ones and some full Bloody Marys, but I really like a lot of these shrimp. I'm going to keep on at it. Keep on calling. And then down here, this tank is kind of a mess right now, but not too bad. This one will be getting redone. And this is my 75-gallon red cherry Sakuras. Most of the females are fire red, but the males ain't mostly. Some of them are, but these guys are really nice. I really love them. There's a lot of them bred out now. So if you're looking for some reds, I got the sale. A lot of people, when are you going to have your sale on reds again? When are you going to have your sale on reds again? It is going. I have some available on sale. This special 20-pack I have on there for cheap. These guys have been breeding up pretty good here lately. What's Miss Meow Meow think about all this? Says to get that thing on my face. And then down here's one of my projects, playing with jellies and reds. Right here we have my 29-gallon Guppy Coal tank. Most of these are my own line, the Rainbow Lightning Guppies that I've created. And so we got there's some really good ones, because at the end of the year last year, I pulled out tons and tons of little babies, and the 75-gallon we'll talk about here in a little bit was just too full, and I didn't have anywhere else to put more guppies. Now, I did have a few panda guppies in here. That is a Rainbow Lightning Guppy mixed with a panda. That is cool. There's a few other ones in here like that have some panda genetics in there with the rainbow lightning guppies. But this is the call tank, with a few exceptions because they're babies. And they're making babies too. Enjoying this tank. And so let's close it out with my last rack here. This is the last rack I built. There's the guppies and the crypt garden. Let's start up here. This tank I set up just 2 or 3 weeks ago. We're starting to get a little bit of algae. But looky here. The shrimp are doing beautiful. There's more buried ones in here than what I put in. So they're not just surviving while the tank is cycling, doing my cycling method. They are thriving and breeding while the tank is still cycling. So check out my new tank setup videos I've done here the last 2 or 3 weeks. You'll see how I do that. These guys are rocking. Rocking. And then this tank is, see, I don't remember what day I did this, but this tank is less than a week old. Another mixing blue jellies and reds and stuff like that. I like them guys. Alright, then let's get to these 20s. This is the little red riding hood, and when that 40 gallon, this will be the project tank, and when it gets established and we start seeing babies and breeding, and here in about 5 or 6 weeks after I set it up, so we got about 3 or 4 more weeks to go for that 40 gallon. This one here, you can see how that moss is growing in. I like it. But most of these guys will end up going in that tank, minus the culls and a handful of the very, very best. This will be the project to keep this line going in case something goes wrong in the mass breeding 40 gallon tank. And then here is the yellow 24K project. Looks like our Pleco buddies. Stuff the food underneath the moss, and so they're all hiding underneath there. But there's not that many shrimp in here. Culled them down to about 15. There's several buried in here. There might be some babies starting to pop up in here pretty soon. And then here is my black rose line now. You can see we still got a lot of blues popping up, but they are starting to get better. So I was kind of disappointed with these guys, to be honest. I've already culled out like 70% of them twice, and we're still getting less chocolates, I think. So like it was like over half of them were blues or chocolates. There's still a lot, so I'm kind of close to writing this one off. Just that this one just sucks. I'm gonna have to find a better black rose line, to be honest. But I might keep at it. And then here we have a really bad problem tank. I've lost like 80% of the shrimp in here. I think the dying has stopped. Knock on wood. I think the dying has stopped. They're growing up. So we'll see. This is a tank I completely tore apart and bleached everything. What happened was when I tore apart the tank to catch all the adults to put outside, things started going bad. There's a bunch of rooted plants in there I ripped up, and I don't know what it is, but something bad happened. And I started seeing a few dead ones, a few dead ones. I was like, okay, I guess we gotta do something. So then I tore everything apart, reset it, and I start still seeing dead ones, and then like after a little bit after resetting, it was like a mass die off. And so there's only a handful of left, and there was like there's a lot here. So not everything goes good, but you can't let it get you down. The good thing is, I'd put them outside, and that's one of the tubs. I can't believe how many are in there. So there's over 1,000 of them outside, I'd guess, in the tub. So yeah, I don't know what happened. Just one of those things. I've only had tanks die off like this on me 2 or 3 times in all my years of keeping shrimp. And then the last tank we'll talk about today is one of my favorites. This is the Rainbow Lightning Guppies, the line I've created myself over the years. I love them, love them, love them. They got like the Japan blue body, red mosaic tail, and a little bit of something else. There is some Medusa type of guppies in here. There's some rainbow tiger endlers in here, some of their genetics. Every once in a while, I'll see one with like I'll pull one out with the tiger endler bars on the body. These guys are super cool. I love them a lot. I took some of them outside, and those are doing really good. I guess we won't close out this. I never did talk about the guppies outside. So we'll take a look at that. But look at these crypts. The crypt garden. This is a bronze winded-eye, a green winded-eye in the middle, and a Florida sunset, which is a red variant winded-eye. I love these crypts. I think now they're not awesome plants to have in shrimp tanks, to be honest. But if I didn't have all these shrimp tanks where I'm calling out shrimp and worrying about that kind of stuff, these are my favorite plants. So I guess we'll close it out. Let's go I forgot to talk about the guppy pond outside. So let's take a look at that and we'll finish this video out. So this is ugly and covered with algae, and you can see I'm surprised the filter's still flowing because the sponge is sucked in. It's still flowing, but usually it's gushing. I'm gonna have to do that when I finish this video up. Look at all the little baby guppies in there. They're everywhere. There's a ton of shrimp in here too. It's hard for me to see what I'm recording because of the sun glare. But, look here on the sponge. There's a really looking one on the sponge. Some other type of shrimp. Now these guys, I had shrimp in here live all year round over the winter with a greenhouse cover on it out here. So that was cool. But there's the outside guppy pond. All right, everyone. As I said, shrimp is my life. Shrimp is life for me. I know lots of people love shrimp, but shrimp is life, hardcore. So hopefully you guys enjoyed checking out my stuff. This tank's doing real good. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.